I will be the first to admit that this does look messy. Not pretty at all. This is quote unquote the behind the scenes. So it is what it is. So these are the 9 modules I've been talking about. You've probably seen them before if I've seen it on my other old videos. So here's the plan. You can see, I'm just gonna put this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now all these guys are perfectly wired up individually. So now I have to make a wiring harness so I can get power to all those modules. The buildings themselves are taken care of because I built the 120 volt connector for Rob Hendricks life lights right into the buildings. So you see that there's a little hole right there that will allow a power cord to come through and plug right into the rocket launch pad. That little hole there, or big hole, allows 3 Rob Hendricks 120 volt connectors to come up and connect to those buildings, which lights that one tower building. Here, right back there for the habitat, the wire comes out for the habitat. And the monorail station is powered when I plug these guys into the wiring harness I'm gonna make. So the idea, I'll come back over here. I was drawing on here, showing where there's, let's see if I can pull this up quickly. I don't know if I can. There we go. So when I talk about 15-inch on centers, I have these joists. They're only 2x4. And they basically go across the perimeter. The perimeter is like a bed frame. I use the bed rails actually to hold the thing together on the corners, bed rail connectors. So I got 4 of those to hold the connectors together for the 4 outside pieces. They're 1x8s, painted gray, classic space gray. And then I put notches where the 2x4s will go across. So I got 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and this is 90. So this is 90 inches across and 60 inches deep. So it's 5 feet by 7.5 feet. So, and this whole thing comes apart and fits in my garage. So I have to now run, what I'm thinking is I have here, I bought this specifically for this purpose, ribbon cable. So I was debating how I was gonna run it. So I first drew it on a piece of paper. So I put the joists here all the way through, all 5 joists. And I started thinking about running it this way with a nice little S curve all the way through, which would hit all the modules. But then I thought, well, that's wasting a lot of ribbon to get that length. Because if I just run it straight across and just have little branches going off, like a tree. So you have the trunk, the main ribbon cable going right across, and then just run the wires back to there, and then back to here. That's gonna save me a lot of ribbon cable. So, and it's also gonna save me a lot of drilling because I want the ribbon cable to go through the joists instead of under the joists, because I don't want to put hangers to hold the ribbon, because when I store this in the garage, I just kind of pile the 2x4s up in the attic and the joists in the garage. So I don't want anything that's going to catch on anything. So, but if I drill a hole through the joist in the middle, like get a nice 1-inch blade bit, and maybe make it wider. Because if I remember my physics classes and how engineers work, you can hollow out the center of a beam in the middle and it won't take away any of the strength. And honestly, I will be replacing these 2x4s at some point because they are warping. And I'm gonna get a piece of plywood, really good high-end plywood. I'm gonna rip it up into strips and I'm gonna glue up I-beams. So that's my plan, my future plan. So, I mean, these 2x4s have done their duty, but I don't mind drilling a hole in them, each one all the way across. And so I'm gonna have this ribbon cable starting on that side and going all the way down the center, right down the center. So right through here, but underneath obviously. And I'm gonna take off 2 wires at a time and go to there, to there, to here, to here, to here, to there, and over to here and over to here, because of course I got the lights here for my portable lights. So I think that'd be the easiest. The thing about these ribbon cables, obviously, I will have to solder on a ton, where is it? A ton of Rob Hendricks Life Flights connectors onto that ribbon cable where I need them. So that's going to be my evening. Taking these modules out, putting them back in, drilling the holes, maybe in the plywood. Maybe I won't do that tonight because then I'm going to make a lot of noise in the garage, and I don't want to take this whole thing apart. And it's going to take out that center row and run the cable across, the ribbon kit across, and then start figuring where I have to branch off and go across. And then the other end of the ribbon cable is going to come out the back. So in future state, I'm going to build another box, a wooden box. So it's going to be, because, you know, in that corner is a box, one of my big square boxes, and there's a big square box, and there's a big square box there, and a big square box there, because that's my table. But beside that box there, I'm going to have another little box that's going to have all the electrical connectors in it. So the other end of the ribbon cable has to make it back to there, to that area there, because that's where the train controller is going to be, possibly in the future where all the RCXs, because right now I put the RCXs into buildings, but I want to take them out because, you know, batteries die and blah, 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 and I have to reprogram them, and, you know, so I want to run all the wiring back to there. And so the ribbon cable, I think, is a great idea. Just to start there, go there to that joist here, that goes right underneath that one, and then take it right to the back. I think that this guy should be long enough. I hope he's going to be long enough. If not, I got another little spool there that I can solder on extensions should I need. But so that's my plan. I think it's a good plan. And then when that is done, I will test the lighting on the base plates, and I might pull in some of the buildings tonight. I'll have to see how I'm feeling. Because basically, I have my living room reorganized. I had to move the dining room table over there because I said this in my Facebook. I always forget this is a 5x10 or 5x7.5. And every time I'm at a show, it's in a huge building, so I think it's tiny. But when I set this thing up in my house, which is the first time this has ever been set up in my house, really? I had it set up in my driveway last year, or the year before. But I've never had it set up inside the house because it's February and I'm not setting it up outside right now. There's snow out there. But I had to move the couch. I had to move the dining room table just so I could have room to move around this thing. I was originally going to pull in the boxes and put the thing up on the boxes, but I thought that's way too much effort for what I'm going to be doing here. And I can do it with this thing sitting on the floor. So right now the 1x8s are just sitting on top of the carpet. I do have one more small point. Of course, that says Ontario Brick Builders, but it looks like it has the measles. I really have to repaint these things because this was Knotty Pine because that was the cheapest I could get at the time. And I didn't use any primer on it, so all the knots that were in the Knotty Pine have started to come through, and you can't, and of course the knottiest part of this 1x8 here is right where the text is. Because look at down here, there's like 1 or 2 or 3, there's like 7, 8, 10. You can't even read Ontario Brick Builders anymore through the mumps or the measles that thing has. Anyway, I might take more videos as I go along, or just wait to the end when this on the base plates are all lit up. We will see, but I'm gonna start tackling this now. Everybody stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.